What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam. Hope everyone is doing phenomenal tonight, man. Hope you guys have had a great week. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Guys, it's Friday night. We're gearing up for week 12, the 2022 NFL season. Full week 12 of the 2022 fantasy football season. We got 3 games under wraps. 3 really good showdowns on Thanksgiving Day. So we'll talk a little bit about some implications for those of you who had players who played yesterday in your lineup or had players against you. We got a couple injury updates to go over. We got some stuff to get into. But it's Friday night. You guys know what time it is, baby. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk some fantasy football. It's time for some live week 12 fantasy Q&A. So hop in the live chat. Let me know what's popping. Let me know how you guys are doing. Let me know how your holiday went. Let me know what you guys need. Starts, sits, adds, drops, last minute waiver wires, roster confidence, roster non-confidence. Who's on your bench? Who's in your starting lineup? Trades, maybe. Probably not for most of you, but maybe for some of you guys. How did your Thanksgiving players do for you? How did they do against you? I mean, there were some fantasy points put up yesterday. Not too much disappointment yesterday from starters either. So, like Darius Slayton and Gabe Davis come to mind right off the bat. Maybe Tony Pollard, actually. Pollard, it was a Zeke day. Zeke was out there eating, man. Pollard finished just 8.1 points in full PPR. So, it was an Ezekiel Elliott day yesterday, man. 16.5 fantasy points, 92 yards on the ground, a touchdown for Zeke. But nonetheless, a good day of football for sure. I mean, just about every game was super fun to watch. So, we're going to talk some fantasy football. We're going to have some fun. Hop in the live chat. Let me know what's popping, guys. Let me know how you guys are doing. Smash that like button on the way in for me as well. All right, Stober, what's good, bro? Great to see you. Christian Kirk or Rashad White in the flex. This is very close. Very, very close. So we have the word that Leonard Fournette is probably not going to play, right? So we kind of were expecting that going into the week. And regardless, we liked Rashad White in this matchup against the Browns. I mean, it's a beautiful matchup for Rashad White. So I could see this being a game script where the Buccaneers run the football a lot. I could also see this being a game script where it turns into the Buccaneers throwing the football a lot. But either way, Rashad White holds a ton of value in this matchup, Stover. So with that being said, Christian Kirk is playing phenomenal football, and he's got a phenomenal matchup. I think he's going to have a great day. He's a wide receiver 10 in fantasy. He moved back a couple spots due to the bye week in week 11, but a great matchup against the Baltimore Ravens here in week 12. So, dude, I'm going to be honest with you. I love both of these starts. It's very, very close. I would trust your gut on this one. I think both are phenomenal starts. I think they're both locks for double digits. In full PPR, I might lean Christian Kirk by a hair, but overall, they're both very, very solid starts, Stober. Who are you leaning towards? John, what's good, bro? Great to see you. Hello. J-Dub's in the house. What's up, man? Great to see you guys. Albert, what's going on, man? Hope you had a great Thanksgiving as well. Great to see you guys. Godfather, hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Awesome to have you in the house. Hope you guys are doing well, man. I appreciate you guys coming out tonight. How was your guys' holiday? Giovanni, Michael Carter, Cordell Patterson in PPR. I will go Carter against the Bears. I like Carter this week. Patterson, a tough matchup against Commanders. He'll be, the volume should be there. But at the end of the day, I'll go Carter against the Bears. It's a great matchup for Carter. Anthony in the house. What's up, bro? Hope you're doing well, man. Great to see you. What's up? John, I traded Dak, Waddle, and Jamal Williams for Hurts and Cook before the Thanksgiving game. Wow. That's close. That's close. I probably would have kept your side. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Let's see here. Luke, pick 6. Connor, Walker, Terry, AJ Brown, Sutton, Jacobs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You already have 6. Hold on, we'll continue that one in the chat. Ricky, someone in my league dropped Cooper Kupp. I'm 8th on waiver wire, hoping I get him, and also hoping he returns for fantasy playoffs. My league, it's week 15 and 16. I mean, there's a chance, Ricky, but I mean, I'm not completely optimistic that the Rams are going to bring him back, that they're going to need to bring him back. We'll see how this weekend goes, though. Aaron Jones and Mike Williams for Allen, a good trade. For Keenan Allen, I mean, Probably not. I mean, if you need a receiver to play right away, then maybe, but I still think you're giving up a little bit too much value, Luke. You know, you have the potential of Mike Williams coming back and aiding you, and you're losing Aaron Jones. You're still a top 10 running back right now in fantasy. So, is Mac Jones a thing now? It's a good question, J-Dubs. Looked very good, looked very comfortable, was making good reads, but on top of that, the Vikings had like 4 starters and their secondary out or something in this game. I'm not discrediting Mac Jones, but like moving forward, like we just need to keep that in mind, right? I mean, I'm not starting. You know, there's 2 ways to look at this question: is Mac Jones a thing in fantasy? Is Mac Jones a thing? Period. I mean, we saw plenty of flashes last year from Mac Jones. He had some good games last year. You know, week 17, 22 fantasy points. Week 15, 19 fantasy points. Week 12, 21. Week 10, 19. Week 7, 22. And a lot of bad games in between those. But, you know, Mac Jones has always had the potential, right? Mac Jones played a very good game last night, though. 382 passing yards. Let's check that very quickly. That's a career high. Yeah. Career high in passing yards. So shout out to our boy Mac and Cheese. It's my dude right there. The potential has always been there, so we'll keep an eye on it. He gets Buffalo next week, another secondary that's completely depleted, right? So we'll keep an eye on things. He gets Arizona, Las Vegas. I mean, that's a pretty good schedule for Mac Jones. He finishes the year out with Cincy and Miami, a little bit tougher, but it was a great game nonetheless, right? John, my team in 12-man PPR now is Hurts, Eckler, Dalvin, Tyreek, Jamar, Schultz, Amari, and I have Goddard on IR. Looks good to me, bro. I mean, for a 12 team, looks very, very good for sure. Schultz back to must start tight end. Yep. Yeah, and we've kind of said it all along, right? Schultz, as long as Dak is back and healthy, he's a guy who won in our lineups. Now, like you look at week 11, you might have mixed feelings, right? The 5.2 fantasy points, but you look at the other 4 starts with Dak healthy: 9.9, 13.4, 17.4, 19.1. We're looking at the tight end position. Like that 5-game sample size is very, very good, right? Like all tight ends are going to have those, except for Travis Kelce, right? They're going to have those games, right? Maybe Mark Andrews, when he's fully healthy, wouldn't be in that conversation. But, you know, you look at a guy like George Kittle, even Hawkinson on the season to a degree. Like they're going to have lower ceilings throughout the year as well. But especially with how much pain we've had at the tight end position, right? We got Kyle Pitts on IR, Darren Waller on IR, Dallas Goedert on IR, Zach Ertz on IR, Higbee's questionable, and Njoku's just coming back. I mean, it's just a tough position, man. You know? Hawkinson looked great yesterday. Shout out to my boy T-Hawk. Pray, I told someone to sit Zeke. Yeah, I remember that now. Mac Jones played well, had some nice throws, absolutely. Missed a parlay because Daniel Jones didn't rush 5 times. I missed a couple of parlays too, my dude. I was negative on the day yesterday. Full PPR, pick 2 RBs, 1 flex. White, Etienne, Wilson, and McLaurin. Ooh, very close here. I'll sit. Call me crazy. I'll sit Etienne. How do you feel about that? I mean, look at the matchups, right? If we're looking purely based on matchups, Etienne has the toughest matchup going against Baltimore. White gets the Browns. Wilson gets the Texans. McLaurin's just been playing very solid football, and he gets the Falcons. Call me crazy, man. I might sit Etienne there. What do you think? Heard a question that was good. Pacheco or Rashad White? I go Rashad White for sure. For sure. You know, Pacheco just doesn't hold really that high ceiling that we want, right? Sean, what's up, man? Should I try to trade DJ Moore and maybe an extra for Rashad White? It depends on your roster, but that's probably fine, Sean. Yeah. Oh, good. Pray. Told him White. Let's go. Devontae Parker has some sneaky upside with how much Mac goes deep. Yeah, he was finding Parker a lot yesterday. If I'm not mistaken, the corner that was on Parker, who had 12 fantasy points, 4 targets, 4 receptions, 80 receiving yards, was like, I'm pretty sure that corner there was not on the Vikings like a week ago. Like, no joke. Like, they signed someone like to their either off their practice squad or to their practice squad, then onto the team. Like, Mac Jones was purposely targeting that specific corner, but it's not to discredit anything. And like we said, right, the next 3 matchups for the Patriots look very good. So I would love to see this Patriots passing attack come to life right before the fantasy playoffs start. Right? Give us some options out there on the waiver. John, do you think I should try to get JT or Ramondre to upgrade from Dalvin? Both are fine. Both are perfectly fine. I'm really on the Ramondre Stevenson train. You guys know that. I mean, a bad day on the ground yesterday, but he had 9 receptions for 76 receiving yards. Still 20 fantasy points for just 36 rushing yards. They get Buffalo, Arizona, Vegas, Cincy, Miami. Not the best schedule, but at the same time, like, I don't know if it matters because of how heavy he's involved in the passing game. JT gets Pittsburgh, Dallas, a bye week. Just keep in mind, JT's got a bye week in week 14. Minnesota, the Chargers, Giants. I mean, if you can afford the bye week, I'd probably still go JT, but I don't mind going Stevenson. If you don't want the bye week in there, then I go Stevenson for sure. Luke, I meant for, let's see, can I scroll back up? Connor, Walker, Terry, Brown, Sutton, Jacobs. Oh, lots of, I mean, you're going to be sitting a good player here. Give me Walker, Terry, AJ Brown, and Jacob. Is very close. I mean, sitting, I still like Connor, but he's got a tough matchup. And then Sutton gives you the lowest ceiling, so I'll sit Connor and Sutton there. How do you feel about that? All right. Is this a good trade? I would give Olave, Saquon, Sutton for Walker, Lockett, and Brown. PPR. I mean, I'd rather have Saquon than Kenneth. It's close. I like Kenneth Walker a lot. Olave and Lockett are close. And I mean, I'd rather have A.J. Brown than Sutton. I'd probably hold, but it's close there. It's close. I mean, the A.J. Brown over Sutton is what makes it close because, you know, Lockett versus Olave is not too steep of a drop-off. Like, Lockett's your wide receiver 13. He was on bye week last week. Olave's your wide receiver 12, but he's missed a game. Had a bye week. That's it. No, he doesn't. He hasn't. His bye week's week 14, so he's missed one game. So pretty, actually, when we look at things, pretty equal in terms of what they've been able to deal in the season. It's still close. I'd probably hold Saquon, man. Very close. How do you feel about it, man? Ricky, Herbert or Fields if Fields plays? I'm probably, believe it or not, I'm probably leaning Herbert at the end of the day. It's a tough matchup for Fields. And, like, if we didn't have the lingering injury, I wouldn't care. I really wouldn't. But the injury on top of the matchup is what bothers me, you know? And I think Fields is going to play. I'll tell you guys that much. At this point in the week, I feel like Fields is going to be out there. I don't know if he should be, but I feel like he's going to be out there. But it's just a good, safe start with Herbert, you know? I know he's had some down weeks as of late, but I told you guys going into week 11, like, it's a really good stretch for Justin Herbert. Give him one last shot in week 11 against Kansas City. He had 20 fantasy points. He gets Arizona, Las Vegas, Miami the next 3 weeks. It's a really good stretch for this Chargers team that is looking like they are getting healthy again, right? Mike Williams is out, but we still got Keenan Allen, Josh Palmer, and DeAndre Carter out there. Gerald Everett is good to go in week 12 as well, which really helps. And obviously you got Eckler coming out the backfield, so I will go Herbert, actually, believe it or not. Ravi, I'm 4-7. I have Kyler, Jacobs, Wilson, Rashad White, D-Hop, Juju, Ayuk, Pickens. So I trade Ayuk and Pickens for Kirk. Do I start Rashad White over Ayuk? I honestly, I probably don't trade. I mean, I love me some Christian Kirk, but Ayuk is playing. I think you hold there, man. Ayuk is playing really well. He's moved up to your wide receiver 16. Since week 6, he's had 12.4 or more fantasy points in all of his matchups, a ceiling of 28 fantasy points. He gets New Orleans, Miami, Tampa Bay, Seattle, Washington, Las Vegas to finish the year. It's a very favorable schedule outside of Seattle's secondary. And then we look at George Pickens, right? And full PPR is a really safe play. I mean, the Steelers are just consistently in game scripts where they need to throw the football, where they're playing from behind. He gets the Colts at Atlanta. I mean, the Colts a bad matchup here in week 12, but I'd still consider starting him. And then he gets Atlanta, Baltimore, Carolina, Las Vegas, Baltimore. guys, if Steelers receivers are available in your league, you need to pick them up, right? And there's only really two you can go after. It's Deontay Johnson, George Pickens. But Atlanta, Baltimore, Carolina, Las Vegas. Baltimore is just ridiculous. I would hold there, man. I like Christian Kirk a lot, but I would hold there. And Rachaad White versus Ayuk is very, very, insanely close. Like I said, Ayuk's playing very good football. He gets the Saints. They're allowing for massive, well, I don't want to say massive, but they're allowing for good offensive game scripts. So Rachaad White versus Ayuk is very close. Full PPR, I'd probably go Ayuk, but it's close. Bully McGuire was good, bro. It was looking rough for Diggs, but the GOAT pulled through again. Yeah, man. Better finish to this week's game as opposed to last. Just felt like a game where you knew Diggs was going to score, right? Benz, what's good, bro? Pirine, Gibson, or White. Thought of starting Kenneth and White, but I'm not entirely sure. I'd probably go Rachaad White here, but I do like Gibson a lot. You know, I don't mind Samaje Pirine this week. And I think he was, like, undoubtedly next to Latavius Murray, the top running back to add going into the week because we knew that Joe Mixon wasn't going to get the start more than likely. But still a tough matchup. Like, I don't know. And there's, right, like, Pirine's going to get it done through the air. That's what he did last week, right? But it's still a tough matchup for the running back position against Tennessee Titans. So, we look at the other two matchups for Gibson and White. They hold very good matchups against Atlanta and the Browns. So, I probably do go White, but I actually think Gibson's pretty close here. Caleb, what's up, man? Should I start Godwin, Wilson, or Rachaad White? Ooh. I love Jeff Wilson this week. But Caleb, you can't go wrong here, man. I think Godwin has a good game against the Browns. Rachaad White has a good game against the Browns. But Jeff Wilson against the Texans, and the word is that, I don't know why I can never find Jeff Wilson. There you go. Raheem Mostert's probably not going to play. Is doubtful. It's going to be a big day for Jeff Wilson, more than likely, in terms of volume. But Salvon Ahmed is the next running back up. I mean, he's not completely useless, but yeah, it's Jeff Wilson's day on I think I go Jeff Wilson, bro. He's a must start for me. How do you feel about it, Caleb? I mean, all are good starts, bro. Any of these players could outscore each other. Stober, put up Christmas lights this morning. Let's go. Yeah, so we're not putting up Christmas decorations. We're going to the beach tomorrow, actually. Leaving tomorrow night. We're not going to put up Christmas decorations until we come back. Because we have 2 cats. So, we feel like the cats will destroy the Christmas tree while we're gone, in a nutshell. So we're going to wait till we're back. I was feeling good after starting Stevenson, JJ, Monroe, and Schultz. Started Cook also, but didn't do much. Appreciate your insight. Let's go, bro. Yeah, some big scoring players yesterday. I had a lot of them against me. Is Pirine or Antonio Gibson at flex? I will go Gibson, personally. I go Gibson. Should I play Burrow or Fields? I go Burrow. Let's see. Deshaun Watson, playoffs. Sorry, I lost my spot. League winner worth buying, Njoku and Sanders trade. I mean, you can stash Watson, see what happens, but I wouldn't necessarily rely on Watson as your QB1. But if you want to go stash him, that's completely fine. Njoku and Sanders. Is that Njoku for Miles Sanders? It just depends there. I mean, no. It's only Sanders I can think of. I mean, if you need a tight end, I'd probably rather roster Sanders, but if you don't need the tight end, I think it's fine. Let me know, Tony. Let's see here. Should I play Christian Watson, Pickens, Samuel Palmer, or Foreman in full PPR? Ooh, I might go Palmer here. I mean, I actually do like Pickens in a kind of a bad matchup, but I go Palmer. I think Palmer is another good week, Caleb. Watson's not bad either. LBR, who should I start at running back? Rachaad White, Aaron Jones, or Pierce? I don't want to discredit Aaron Jones too much here because he doesn't necessarily matter what the matchup is for Aaron Jones. It's a bad matchup, but he's on the season played the best. But you can go Rachaad White here. I might go Jones, though. I wouldn't go Pierce over the other two, though. Is Njoku a mid or top tier tight end one? I will go. He's a top tier with the options that are out there. With what's out there at the tight end position, I think he's a top tier because the Buccaneers have played very bad against position. I like Njoku a lot this week. Howdy, need help bad this week with mixing out. Need a flex for the week. Watson or Pirine? You can go with either one, but in this circumstance, I might go Pirine. Both are completely fine, but I probably go Pirine. Close there. You know, Pirine has a bad matchup. Titans are very good against the run. The Eagles are very good against posting receivers, you know. So, but I believe a little bit more in Watson as opposed to Allen Lazard. I think it gets a little bit more of the defensive pressure. And, like, at least we know at this point that Aaron Rodgers' number one, like, target in the red zone is apparently Christian Watson. So, Watson's fine. Pirine's fine, you know. Thoughts on Juju? So, Juju should be good to go from what I've read. He's going to play. Yeah. You can start Juju for sure. Depends on what the rest of your roster looks like, probably, but you can start him. Should I start Everett or Greg Dulcich? I go Gerald Everett. Greggy D has let us down the last 2 weeks. So, I go Everett. Who's the Raiders running back to grab? Oh, goodness. What's his name? Amir Abdullah, right? I mean, he looked like he was getting kind of better volume. I mean, that's a good topic to bring up, right? We've got Josh Jacobs questionable with a calf injury. I'd probably go Amir Abdullah. But you could keep an eye on Brandon Bolden. He actually had 10 points in week 1, so I don't know what happened to that. I'd probably go Amir. But keep in mind, you're picking up a pure handcuff at this point, so. I mean, he's seen pretty consistent volume in the passing game throughout the year. So I would imagine, especially in full PPR leagues, he's going to hold more value. So I'd probably go Abdullah. J-Dubs, did you mean to put LBR in timeout? I feel like that was an accident. Who should I flex? 10-man PPR. Oh. I see. Was not an accident. Okay. Interesting. Do I start DK or Hollywood need upside? You want to pay attention. Want to pay attention to the weather. Because, like, right now, at this point in the season, I'm probably going DK. But the weather in that game is not supposed to be great, which might lead you to start Hollywood. I mean, it's just so tough looking at this Cardinals team right now because, like, Kyler Murray is good to go at the moment, you know, but we didn't really know that earlier in the week, right? We just have so many rotating injuries. Like, Rondale Moore is ruled out, so we know he's not out, or that he's out of the game, right? Hopkins is good to go. Was questionable last week. I mean, we know Ertz is out. Greg Dortch Greg Dortch is questionable, that's right, with the thumb injury. It's just like all over the place in terms of evaluating this team. Then we get Hollywood Brown coming back to action. So does Brown give you upside? Yeah, absolutely. Is he a little risky? Yeah, absolutely. But the upside play is Hollywood Brown. I mean, with upside, well, what do you get? You get risk. So I go Hollywood, I guess. But I would say if the weather's fine, I'm more comfortable with DK Metcalf for sure. Let's see here. I'm scared about Nick Chubb. Do I start him or Pacheco? Start Nick Chubb. Oh, goodness. I don't care who he's playing. You start Nick Chubb, my dude. No way I would start Pacheco over Nick Chubb. Chase or Metcalf. Once again, we got to pay attention to the weather for the Seahawks-Raiders game. But ultimately, I'd like to give a player like Chase a week back, see if he's on the snap count, see how things go. It's not like I doubt Chase at all against a bad Tennessee Titans secondary, but I'd probably be more comfortable starting Metcalf, but you could go Chase here. You think Kelsey can have another big game this week against the Rams defense? Absolutely. Absolutely. The Rams have played well against the tight end position, don't get me wrong, but I don't care who Kelsey's playing, we can start him. Tampa Bay's run defense is crazy. They're good, don't get me wrong. They are, but you got to start Nick Chubb, man. It's just a player like that you cannot afford to bench, you know? I mean, you look at, like, The Patriots secondary is good. Would you have benched Justin Jefferson yesterday? The Cowboys run defense is good. Would you have benched Saquon Barkley yesterday? You know, the Bills-Lions game, both those defenses have not been playing well lately, but like trying to think of a good example from that game. I mean, the Bills' run defense has been playing okay, but actually, we got that a lot. Should I start Jamal Williams? I said yes. He didn't have that great of a game, but he didn't have that bad of a game. DeAndre Swift kind of showed up yesterday, too. That was nice to see. But it's like, you know, he had about 10 points, depending on your scoring format. And then Jamal Williams also had about 10 points. Just what I've said all year long. They just cap each other's upside, you know. All right, Mike Williams and Aaron Jones for Josh Allen. Oh, it was for Josh Allen, not Keenan Allen. I'm sorry. Yes, it's a W. Yeah, if you need a quarterback, you don't need the help at receiver and running back. Yes. Samaje or Michael Carter? I go Michael Carter. Far better matchup against the Bears. Ayuk or Lockett? It's very close. Right now, looking at the weather, I'd probably go Ayuk with potential bad weather for the Seahawks Raiders. But if the weather doesn't impact that game, I'd probably go Lockett. Rashad, Ayuk, or Sutton? I really like Brandon Ayuk right now, guys, in full PPR scoring formats. But Rashad White has a very good matchup against the Browns. So, super close there, man. I really like Ayuk right now. Let me know what you think about it, G. John, need your help. High upside, what's good, bro? I haven't got through the comments today. But I do know that you had a comment. I think this is the same comment you left on one of the videos. So, Palmer versus Arizona with Big Mike out, or Lockett versus Raiders. Non-PPR. Ooh, that's tough. I do feel like ultimately Lockett gives you a better chance to score. But I feel like Palmer's a safer start. We got to pay attention to this weather. We're probably going to be keeping an eye on the weather in that game up until kickoff, you know? I'd probably leave Palmer in right now, but it's really close. I mean, non-PPR, I might go Lockett. LBR, what's up, bro? Andrea, hello. How are you doing? Great to see you. Need to Olave, Pittman, Juju, Palmer. I'd probably go Olave and Palmer, but Pittman and Pittman's got a good matchup. Juju's been balling. I mean, you could definitely argue Olave, Juju. I'd definitely start Olave, Andrea, but probably have Olave and Palmer in right now. I got some faith in Palmer right now. If it rains, will Nick Chubb get more attempts? That's a good point. That game is also looking like it's going to have bad weather. Buccaneers-Browns looking like it's going to have bad weather. So keep that in mind when we're looking at like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Mari Cooper, David Njoku, maybe Kate Otten, maybe. That actually could definitely, like you're asking, Nate, could definitely positively impact Nick Chubb and Rashad White. Connor or Evan, strong win versus Bucks. Yeah, so once again, Bryce, you can go Connor here if you're worried about the weather for the Buccaneers game. What's up, Bryce? Good to see you, bro. Derek in the house. What's good, bro? How are you, man? Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, man. Great to see you. How'd your food turn out, man? Kel, Sutton, or DPJ? I'd probably go Sutton at the moment. It's a decent matchup against the Panthers, and we don't have to worry about the weather there. So, at the moment, I probably have Sutton in, but I'm not against DPJ. Saquon for CD and Kirk. It depends. Do you need the wide receiver help that bad that you're willing to trade a running back of Saquon Barkley's caliber? What other running backs do you have on your roster? I mean, Barkley's sitting as your RB4 full PPR right now. A little bit of a tough stretch for Barkley. I don't know if it matters. He had 15.2 points against Dallas. We just talked about players you don't bench, right? Obviously, Barkley, you don't really care, but he does face Washington, Philly, Washington the next couple of weeks before finishing out the year with Minnesota and Indianapolis, but I don't really care. It depends. What running backs do you have if you trade Saquon away? How badly do you need the receiver's help? C-Crip, what's up, bro? Start Gus the Bus or C-Pat? I mean, if Gus is healthy, you can start him. But you just got to understand, anytime you start a Ravens running back, you're bringing risk to your team because that's just the way that backfield operates. But he has a better matchup for sure. And you got to make sure he starts, I guess. Bryce, Keenan Allen, another option there. Let me see. I don't mind Keenan Allen, actually. Keenan Allen is probably fine as long as it's full PPR. Allen, what's good, bro? Happy Thanksgiving to you, bro. Full PPR, would you trade away Mixon for Kamara and Hollywood? Currently sitting at 8-3. Depends on what else you got on that team. You know, what's your... I mean, it's a good trade. It is. I mean, I'd still rather have Mixon than Kamara. It's close between those two. I'd rather have Mixon than Kamara. But, yeah, gaining the up... Like, think about it this way. Like, if this was a couple weeks ago and Hollywood Brown was fully healthy and Kamara was in that range where he was getting us, like, 12, 20 points a week, you know, or just a little bit of a higher ceiling, then this would be a no-brainer. It depends on what else you got at running back. Because I'm still a little worried about Kamara. I'm not worried about Kamara as a player. I'm worried about that offense as a whole, you know. I mean, 12.9 points last week. But that little slump against Baltimore and Pittsburgh. And then he gets the next 2 weeks. This is what you got to keep in mind. Really the next 3 weeks for Kamara, okay? Like, you're in a position where you're making a playoff push. So if you have running backs you can start in the next 3 weeks over Kamara, I really don't mind the trade because you gain Hollywood Brown. But just keep in mind with Kamara, this is what you're going to get. San Francisco in Week 12, bad matchup. Tampa Bay in Week 13, bad matchup. So Kamara in those 2 weeks kind of gets downgraded to a flex. And then in Week 14, he's on a bye week. But Week 15, he gets Atlanta. Week 1 in the fantasy playoffs, beautiful. I mean, super high ceiling there. Week 16, he gets Cleveland, beautiful. Super high ceiling once again. Week 16, Week 2 of the fantasy playoffs. Week 17, he gets Philadelphia. It's not as great of a matchup by any means, but you know, if he's on a roll those previous 2 weeks, am I going to hate starting Kamara in the fantasy championship in the flex? Probably not. So, in your position, I don't mind the trade, but you just got to think about the next 3 weeks for Kamara. What are you going to start in his place? Grail, what's good, bro? Kittle or Everett this week? It's a good question, man. I mean, I probably am starting Kittle. You know, Saints have played well against the position. Like, I'll put it this way. Everett probably brings a safer floor. Kittle is a little bit risky, but the ceiling is so much higher. Like, I still go Kittle. I go Kittle, even in a tough matchup. I don't care at this point in the season, right? Go for that upside. This is that pivotal point in most of your guys' fantasy seasons where you're trying to, if you've already made the playoffs, you're securing seeding, or B, you're trying to make that playoff push. So I'll take the upside there. Bryson, Njoku or Komet? I'm going to go Njoku. I'll go Njoku here. I'm a little worried about Komet's output against the Jets. Yeah, I'm very worried if Fields doesn't play. Caleb, Cole Komet, Jawan Johnson, Conklin, or Greg Dulcich. Go Jawan Johnson. Give me Johnson all day long. It's my guy. Tough matchup against the Niners. I don't care. Give me Johnson. Dana, what do you do with Kamara versus San Francisco? Only got Mooney, Nico. I could pick up Corey Davis, Alec Pierce, Eli Moore, Demarcus Robinson. Yeah, you got to go Kamara. But if you're going to pick up one of those players off of waivers, it's Demarcus Robinson against the Jaguars for sure. I mean, he is looking like the #1 receiving option for the Ravens. So, if you're going to truly not put your faith in Kamara and you have to pick from that pool of players, it's got to be Demarcus Robinson. Kells, Lockett, Pittman, C, Kirk. Lockett and Christian Kirk for sure. For sure. But if we start to get closer to Sunday and that it looks like we're going to get too much potential rain in the Raiders game, then you might want to go another direction there. But, like, just looking at things purely on the season, then I go Kirk and Lockett. But keep in mind that Michael Pittman has a good matchup. So if you have to start him over Lockett, that's fine. We'd love to see it, J-Dubs. We'd love to see it, man. Appreciate you helping out with questions in the chat, man. Ed, need a running back in the flex. Half PPR, JT Sanders, DK, or White. Also have Suck Up. Should I pick up Dicker because of the weather or hold? Please need to win this champ. Thank you. Of course, bro. That's what we're here for, man. Yeah. You know, so Steven runs our must-start kickers here at the channel, right? So if you guys ever have quick kicker questions that you guys want other insight on outside of me, go check out Steven's must-start kickers for the week. He also does our must-start defenses. He loves hearing from you guys and getting those comments. But one thing that Steven has really emphasized at this point in the season is we got to pay attention to weather. You know, the best kicker in the league, right? Justin Tucker or Nick Folk, whoever it may be, if they play in bad weather, gonna have an awful game, just like that, right? Could ruin your week just like that. So the weather's not looking great for suck up. So I might consider Dicker the kicker here, kicker the Dicker. I might make that pivot, man. Need a running back in a flex. JT Sanders, DK, or White. I go JT and Rashad White. I definitely consider DK, but with the weather looking bad there, probably go JT and White. I know White's weather's not looking good, but that should favor the running back position. Latavius Murray or Everett in the flex. I go Latavius Murray. Debo or Watson this week. Worried about Debo with the hamstring injury. If you're worried, you can go Watson, but I think if Debo is listed as healthy and is listed to play, then we got to go Debo. You know what I'm saying? Just potential upside there, although he hasn't shown a ton of it on the season, it's just too high. You know, he gets the Saints. That's the type of matchup we want to hunt for a player like Debo in. So if he's good to go, I go Debo personally, but if he's not, Watson is a perfectly fine replacement. Good to see you, Bigfoot. Caleb, Jimmy G or Mariota? I go Jimmy G. For sure. Will not underestimate Washington's defense against the Falcons this week. Thoughts on Jerry Jeudy rest season? Still a boom or bust player, Avery, but definitely a player you can line up whenever you need to. So, is he more than a flex to me? Not necessarily, but you know, he was just really picking up that momentum before he got hurt and has missed the last 2 weeks. So I'm good with Jeudy, but he's a flex for me. Daniel, I picked up Dortch because I lost Rondo Moore. Now Hollywood is back. The story of my team this season. Yeah, that Cardinals receiving room is so tough to keep up with, man. Do you think Josh Jacobs plays this week? I think he has a chance, but I'm not sure, to be honest with you, Caleb. I mean, a calf injury is really hard to read. Like, it could really go in either direction. How do you feel about Sutton full PPR this week? I'm still waiting for that game. Yeah. I'm fine with Sutton against the Panthers. A pretty good matchup for him. So, do I think he holds a really high ceiling? Not necessarily. But if you need to start him in full PPR, I don't have a problem with it. Even with Saquon's rough schedule closing, he's basically playing the Commanders back-to-back in Philly. Yeah, that's a good point. Rashad White or Kamara? I mean, White holds the better matchup, you know. Probably go White. Michael Pittman, Christian Kirk, Tyler Lockett. I feel like we hit that one, Kels. I said Kirk and Lockett, but pay attention to that weather for Lockett. If you don't feel comfortable with it, you can go Pittman. He's got a good matchup. I mean, the Steelers are literally the worst secondary in the league against opposing receivers from a fantasy perspective. Juju or Lockett? Pray, I think Juju's a safer option, but if you want that upside, you want the risk with the weather, you can go Lockett. And your team's pretty good, man. Browns game, bad weather, too, with rain and wind, so I'm loving Rashad. Yeah, I do think that Rashad White and Nick Chubb can definitely benefit from this weather. Davis, what's up, bro? I'm first playing second place. I got 27 from St. Brown, 15 from Folk. You got 29 from JJ and 15 from Hawkinson. Woo! Both projected over 150 points and need higher ceiling. Wow, that's crazy because you guys basically, I mean, you're down 2 so far, but like you guys basically balanced out, which is like not the best feeling, but it could feel a lot worse. Higher ceiling, Rashad White or Pittman. You know, I'll be honest, I think the higher ceiling, if we're talking pure ceiling, probably goes to Pittman, believe it or not. Because the Steelers secondary is not good against the position. And I like Rashad White a lot. But I think if we're talking higher ceiling, full PPR, it is probably Pittman. But you got to hope he scores, right? Both are definitely fine to start. Austin, full PPR, pick 2, Kamara, Wilson Jr., Gibson, or Jamar. I start Wilson. Jeff Wilson Jr. must start against the Texans for me. it's really tough to read, man. Because you got Kamara in a bad matchup, but he's still Alvin Kamara. You got Jamar Chase probably coming back from injury in a good matchup. But he's still coming back from injury. Then you got Gibson in a really good matchup. I mean, the safest starts here are Wilson and Antonio Gibson. But I would definitely start Wilson. And you just got to ask yourself the question, right? Are you willing to risk Kamara in a bad matchup with the potential ceiling he gives you? And are you willing to risk Jamar Chase in his first game back from injury? It's tough. I probably have Wilson in there. And I might sit Jamar Chase. If I'm going to take a risk here, it's Jamar Chase against the Titans secondary. Thoughts on DeMarcus Robinson? Yeah, I think Robinson has a really good opportunity this week. I think he's a really good flex. If you're absolutely desperate for a receiver, DeMarcus Robinson against the Jaguars feels like a very good start. Derek, food turned out great. Still eating leftovers all day. But it did taste great. Let's go. But didn't mind it tasted great. Okay, gotcha. I ate leftovers for dinner tonight. It was great, man. I'm glad to hear that the food was a success. Santos, what's good, bro? White or Wilson Jr., RB2, thanks for your help. Start off the week with 80 points, up 50 points. Let's go, bro. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Right back at you, bro. I will go Jeff Wilson. Love me some Rachaad White, but I got to go Jeff Wilson. Too good of a matchup to ignore, and most starts not supposed to play. I mean, look at the other way. Rachaad White, very good matchup, and Leonard Fournette's not supposed to play. But I still go Jeff Wilson. Better offense, in my mind. I mean, close. So I'll take the Dolphins over the Bucks. Jeff, what's good, bro? Hope you had a great Thanksgiving as well, man. Who should I flex? Palmer, Hollywood, or Rachaad White? Ooh, goodness. Goodness. You got a lot of good options here, Jeff. Who do you feel the best about? I'm curious. But, I don't know, man. You guys think that Cardinals-Chargers game is going to be a shootout? I think it'll be really close. But, I mean, we got Hollywood in that same matchup. Safest starts for Rachaad White. Riskiest starts Hollywood. Upside, but still safe is probably Palmer. I might go Palmer here. I think I go Rachaad White. Very close, Jeff. Very close. Who are you leaning towards? PPR, Michael Carter, Gibson, Samaje Perine. Yeah, that's a tough flex decision because you got Carter in a good matchup. You got Gibson in a good matchup. And you got Perine, who played really well last week in a tough matchup. But, you know, he's going to get it done through the air, theoretically, right? So, I'd probably go Michael Carter. I got a good feeling about Carter this week against the Bears. But it's still close. How do you feel about it? Rachaad White or Pierce? I go White over Pierce this week. Pierce, change at quarterback. Miami's defense is good enough. I'd probably go Rachaad White in a far better matchup. Would you drop Tom Brady for Jimmy G, or is a comeback incoming? That's a good question, J-Tubbs. Whew. I mean, if you're winning with Brady right now, he's your QB 19 in fantasy, right? Like, 25 points in week 4 and 19 in week 5. Outside of that, every other game has literally been between 8 and 17 fantasy points, right? 17 points can still get you through, but, like, it's not great, right? He gets Cleveland, New Orleans, San Fran, Cincinnati, Arizona, Carolina. It's a pretty favorable schedule. He tends to play bad against the Saints. He had 8.4 points against them in week 2. Last year, I don't know, he had 26 points in week 8, but then 4 in week 15. So I guess he's due for a good game against the Saints, right? But and the Saints defense has been playing, their secondary, and they're playing pretty poorly as of late. But then against San Francisco. Cincinnati has played really well against the quarterback position. Then he gets Arizona and Carolina. It's pretty favorable there, but let's take a look at Garoppolo. New Orleans, Miami, Tampa Bay, Seattle, Washington, Las Vegas. It's pretty favorable. But once again, you know, Seattle has not played that bad. Washington has not played that bad. Those feel like weeks 15 and 16 in the fantasy playoffs. Pretty tough matchups for Jimmy G, where I expect a lower ceiling out of him for sure. Now, considering, like, you look at some of the games he's had as a starter, like 13 points against the Rams, 15 against the Chargers, for example. Like, There's still some pretty low floors in there. It's super close, J-Dubs. Super close. Who are you leaning towards? I consider it, but it's very close. Maybe wait till after this weekend. Rashad White, Chaser, Olave. Whoo. I'd probably go Olave. But, I mean, it's only because Chase coming back from injury. I mean, guys, I'm okay with starting Chase if he plays this weekend. But you got to associate the risk there. Like, it's his first week back from injury. Might not be 100%. Might be on a snap count, but it's a good matchup for Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase on a snap count, Jamar Chase not 100%. It's still probably better than 80% of the receivers in the league. You know what I'm saying? So if you want a safer start, go Olave. If not, I don't have a problem with Chase. Cap for life, Rashad White, Fever. Do I start White over Christian Watson? J-Dubs put it in good verbiage here. Rashad White is a better floor. I'd roll with Watson. I'd roll with that. Watson is TD dependent, but has a higher ceiling. Exactly. So Rashad White is definitely the safer start. Favorable matchup here for sure. Watson holds the upside, but also holds the risk if he does not score. So probably play White personally because I play for more of that security, so to speak. Kels, Kamara, ETN. I'd probably go ETN. Like, they both have bad matchups, but I do think if one of these two games is going to turn into a shootout, believe it or not, I'd probably go the Ravens-Jaguars over the Saints-Niners just because the Ravens' defense is good, and I like what they're doing a lot right now, but I can still see the Niners' defense scheming up a little bit better. But it's very close there. Do I trade Kamara and Evans for Kelsey? Yes. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the rest of your roster, but if you're going to get Kelsey, I don't really care. Njoku or Juwan Johnson? Whew. That's very close. Due to the rain, I'll go Juwan Johnson, though. If it wasn't for the rain, I'd probably go Njoku. Drop Mostert for Michael Carter? Yes. The upside in that backfield still leans with Jeff Wilson. I'm fine with Mostert and good matchups, but who's got a better opportunity to be a clear-cut RB1? It's Michael Carter. Pray, Jason Sanders, Money Mac, or Suck Up. We'll do the weather and probably going Evan McPherson. Without the weather, I'd probably go Suck Up. Keenan Allen or Amari Cooper. Very close here. Due to weather, give me Keenan Allen, but keep an eye because I want to start Cooper, but if the weather's bad enough, then we got to go Keenan Allen. George, what's up, bro? Full PPR, pick one for flex. Rashad White, Sutton, Palmer, Moore, Pirine, Donovan Peoples-Jones, or Foreman. Wow, just one, huh? Give me Rashad White. Palmer's fine too, but I'll go Rashad White. Mark Cooper, Rashad White. Well, with the weather impending, I'd probably go Rashad White. Ed, 8-3. Let's go. Already claimed a playoff spot. My team is Josh Allen, Lamb, Metcalf, Mike Williams, Davis, JT, Mixon, Sanders, White, Everett, Hawkinson. Bills defense suck up. Do you think my team is in for a strong run? For sure, bro. For sure. It's a great team. Allen, Lamb, Metcalf, JT, Mixon. You got a plethora of players to choose based on matchup in the flex. Even if you have two flexes, you're in a good spot. Then you got Hawkinson at tight end. The one position I keep an eye on here is the defense. Because the Bills' defense is definitely starting to slip a little bit. They don't have the worst schedule to finish the year. Like, they get New England, they get the Jets. Miami's a bad matchup. That's going to be a good game. Be a good game. They only had 4 points against Miami last time they played. But then they get Chicago. Who knows if Justin Fields will be playing. Then they get Cincinnati. So maybe pay attention to streaming some defenses. But actually, the Bills have some good matchups. They have some bad matchups too there. But yeah, the team looks really good, man. Really good. Rashad White and A.J. Brown for Saquon. I don't have a problem with that. It just depends. Like, the trade in nature is fine, but it just depends on the rest of the roster, man. Thoughts on Nico Collins? I mean, I'm fine with Nico Collins, but what we have to consider here is to change that quarterback. Like, does Kyle Allen help this team? Does he keep them about the same, or is he worse than Davis Mills? We don't know. So, like, do I want to roll out Nico Collins right now? Not particularly. I mean, they get Miami and Cleveland the next 2 weeks. We should be able to get a pretty good sample size against these two teams. Like, the Texans are going to have to throw the football in Week 12. They're playing Miami, right? I mean, I think Miami's going to have a field day offensively. Then they get Cleveland, and the week Deshaun Watson comes back. So you'd have to expect, once again, that both teams are going to try and keep that game extremely competitive. So I would assume, like, my thought process for Week 13, I don't know why we're getting this topic, for the Texans and for the Browns. I guess what I'm thinking here is, like, for those of you guys stashing Deshaun Watson, right? I think the Browns are going to do anything they can to win this game. And in order to win this game, what they should do is just run the football, because the Texans cannot defend against the run. The Texans are actually the third best team in the league against opposing quarterbacks from a fantasy perspective. And they have played pretty damn good against opposing receivers. So what they have not done well is they cannot defend the run to save their life. And so the quarterback and receivers and even the tight ends don't have to do a lot. So that's part of why they rank where they are. But also, you have to give them some credit. They have some really young players on that defense who have played really well this year too. So I'm just saying, man, I don't know if Week 13 is going to be too crazy for Watson. That just came to mind. But outside of that, we should get a good sample size out of what Nico Collins is going to look like in the next 2 games, because the Texans should be forced to throw the football, and they should be playing from behind. Then they're going to hit Dallas, Kansas City, Tennessee. Jeez. That's tough. So I'd kind of hold on Nico Collins for now. Mr. Jones. PPR, flex, Pittman, Devonta Smith, Debo, Rashad White. Debo for sure. If Debo's not healthy, you could really go with any of those options, but I'd probably go with White. Godwin or White, full PPR. Keep an eye on the weather. You probably have to go White just due to the weather, but if the weather's fine, then go Godwin. Gronk is not coming back. No. I really truthfully don't think Gronk is anywhere close to coming back. Boyd or Burks in full PPR? I might go Boyd. Boyd is kind of the floor play, but a much lower ceiling. So upside risk lies with Burks. Floor lies with Boyd. Boyd disappointed us last week, though. Let's see. Pulse, full PPR. Need to pick one. Both have great matchups. James Conner, Rashad White need the highest floor. I'll go James Conner because I feel like that game could get a little bit more competitive. I'll go James Conner against the Chargers. Start Pirine or Gibson. I go Gibson. I go Gibson against the Falcons. Better matchup in my eyes, Box. Please don't tell me you're reining in the Seattle game. I'm stacking Lockett and Walker. What do you think, or keep it as is? I mean, let's just take a quick look, because we checked the weather yesterday or pending weather. All right, let's see if we get any updates here. Gosh, that screen is so bright. I have all my normal stuff set to dark mode, so whenever I pull something up I'm not used to, it's like, what the hell? All right, excuse my language. Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Cleveland Browns, likely the worst weather of the week. 20-mile-per-hour sustained winds with gusts 30+ rain likely. Enough to impact the game, possibly not on every play. Bears, Jets, decent chance of rain here. The winds look to remain manageable. Raiders at Seahawks, cold and wet looks like a probable outcome here. Winds are not an issue. So that's, out of the bunch, that's probably the best report. Might get some rain in the Packers-Eagles game. That's it. So, I mean, out of what we've got, outside of Sunday Night Football, the Raiders-Seahawks game does look the best. But definitely keep an eye on the Buccaneers-Browns game. So if you have both of them in, that's fine. In my eyes, rain games don't impact the running backs as much as it's going to impact receivers or tight ends. Start 2, Connor, White, or Pirine. I go Connor and White. Connor and White. Caleb, Mr. Answer. Should I play Njoku or Jawan Johnson? I go Johnson. Once again, due to the weather. Yeah, I go Johnson due to the weather, Caleb. Should I trade away Chubb, Diggs, and Godwin for Eckler, Brown, Cooper? PPR league, I also have Hurts. So you swap Chubb for Eckler. I'd rather have Eckler. Very close. Swap Diggs for A.J. Brown. I'd rather have Diggs. Godwin versus Cooper. I mean, Cooper's actually played better on the season, so I'll give it to Cooper, but I don't mind Godwin. It's close because you lose Diggs, right? Like I don't know if I'm willing to trade away Diggs. If you can swap that trade, swap Diggs out of that trade for any other receiver on your team, I'd take it. But if not, I'd probably hold, because as much as I like Eckler and his PPR value, and I mean he's just 100% deserves to rank as RB1 in fantasy this year, like Chubb still comes in as RB6, and he gets Houston in week 13, so he's probably going to bounce back up to like the top 3 in the next 2 weeks, even though he's a tough matchup this week. But I wouldn't do the trade. I wouldn't do the trade. Doug, Denny's, or IHOP? I go IHOP, bro. Ed, have Kansas City defense and Bills defense. I'd have to start Casey this week. Should I drop Bills defense for Carter, Pacheco for playoff depth? If yes, which one would you go with? Well, the Bills have already played. Okay, then, yeah, so you drop the Bills and you pick up Michael Carter is what I would do personally. And Michael Carter's got a great playoff schedule. It's like the second person tonight to say that Michael Carter is available, which I mean, everyone plays in different size leagues, but guys, Michael Carter is available. Like, I know he had a really bad week in week 11. You know, it was a tough matchup against New England, but his playoff schedule is Detroit, Jacksonville, and Seattle. It's ridiculously good. Michael Carter should be rostered just for his playoff push. Yeah, so I'd do that move. Pray, catching to see Godfather and Mine's match and Catch Fam League 3. It's going to be super close. Oh, I bet it is. Both you guys have very good teams. How is, like, I haven't looked at, I'm not going to lie to you guys, like, the overall rankings in most of the leagues. I just haven't had any time. League 3 was balling, though. Praise Goated is number 2. Godfather moved down to number 5. He was number 1 for a while. LeBron's Brain up at number 1. We got David at number 3. We got Michael at number 4. Albert's in that league. Claiborne. Anthony. Julian. Other Anthony. Foster's. Spanky. We got League 3 is stacked. You're projected to win, man. Oh my gosh, Godfather's team. Godfather is just, if Godfather had a quarterback, his team would be ridiculous. JT Chubb, Debo, Hopkins, Kittle, Kirk, Gibson, Matt Gay, Pittsburgh's defense, Rodgers and Russell Wilson, Woods, Gallup, and the Rams defense. That's a tough matchup, Prey. But you got Tua, Latavius Murray, Derrick Henry, Godwin, McLaurin, Higbee, Juju, McCaffrey. Just, I love how you have like Latavius Murray listed as your RB1. Not that it matters, just funny. Money Mac, the Niners defense. You got Herbert, Edwards, Lockett, Slayton on your bench, and Saka. Because I love it. You got 2 kickers. Yeah, I mean, you got tough choices there, bro. With Lockett hanging around too. That is a close one, man. Definitely a close one. V. Rondo, Mari Cooper, not Cup. Oh, okay, yeah. So that's how I read it. I got you. Booger Dog, standard. Starting Kirk and Lockett, have Olave, Palmer, and Watson on bench. I mean, you're going for who's going to score. If you think it's Kirk and Lockett, I mean, dude, that's just, it's so hard when you're looking at standard. Because if I don't call the player who scores, you don't have the right matchup. So I trust your gut there, bro. It's just super close, man. Because I could see Palmer having a good day. I mean, I don't know if I'm sitting Olave right now. I just don't. But he's got a tough matchup. So if you go with Lockett and Kirk, I'm not against it. Pittman, Lockett, Higgins, or Pierce in the flex. I go Higgins for sure. I go Higgins for sure. But you got some, I mean, don't get me wrong. Pittman in a good matchup. Lockett in a good matchup. Pierce is still Pierce, but his ceiling looks like it's going to be a little lower lately. I still go Higgins, though. Ash, what's going on? Good to see you. How you feel about Muth this week? I sat Schultz. I'm good with Fearmuth. I mean, it's tough there. You got two really good tight ends. I'm good with Fearmuth. Booger Dog, appreciate you being here, bro. Thoughts on MVS this week? Ooh. Well, you get Juju back. We know that. McCole Hardman has been moved to IR. And, well, I don't know, because now we got Sky Moore kind of stepping up. Tony's out. Should have trusted my gut on Kadarius Toney, guys. I got sucked into the hype. MVS is fine. He only had one catch last week. But he's fine in the flex if you're desperate. But that's about it. Christian Watson or Olave? I go Olave. I go Olave. I go Olave. ER sit 1, Jacobs, JT, ETN, White. Jeez. I'll set ETN. God, I mean, a lot of these questions where we're sitting ETN, it's not because I don't have faith in ETN at all. It's just the matchup against the Ravens just tends to be the worst matchup out of the bunch. I'll set ETN, but I'm not going to be surprised if he has a good game, ER. Rashad White or Kamara. White's a better play. Kamara has more risk, but more upside. Just in a bad matchup, Big Trev. Trev, good to see you. Ghost Hunter, what's up? Would you start White or Monty? I go White. I go White as opposed to Monty against the Jets. Andrew, what's good, bro? Am I worried about Christian Kirk in fantasy playoffs? Asks Stober. I mean, you're probably going to get downgraded to flex, but Dallas, the Jets, Houston, it's a tough schedule. Don't get me wrong. But I'll still flex them for sure. Pirine or Pacheco or Patterson? That's a tough one. I might risk it there and go Pirine. Bad matchup, but he should get it done through the air. If not, I'd probably go Pacheco. I'm a little worried about Patterson this week. How do you feel about it, Ash? Because you got a lot of conflicting factors there. Andrew, Joe Mixon's out. Should I place Pittman or Kirk at the flex? Kirk. Ghost Hunter, picked up Rashad White from free agency. My league mates are crazy. Let's go. Rashad White or Pirine as a flex this week. I already have Walker and Wilson. I go Rashad White there. Give me Rashad White. Would you start Jimmy G or Carr this week? I actually think Carr is going to have a decent game. But I go Jimmy G. I go Jimmy G. The Saints defense has been kind of lackluster lately. He's got so many weapons. It's like the safest point of Jimmy G's entire career. I go Garoppolo, you know. All right, guys, I'm gonna wind it down here. I'm gonna try and end things right at midnight Eastern time. I got a couple chores I got to do before bed. We're going to the beach tomorrow, so just so you guys know, I will stream tomorrow. I don't know exactly what time. I'm gonna do like an afternoon, evening stream because we're not leaving till late. I will be on tomorrow. I know we usually do like a late night Saturday night stream, but tomorrow I'll be driving to the beach. So, and then I am still planning on streaming Sunday from the beach. So just so you guys know, this coming week, the schedule's going to be kind of crazy and all over the place. I don't exactly know what content you guys are going to have this week, but I will be streaming. Like, there will be something every day, even though I'm at the beach. Like, the last time I went to the beach in August, that was like a true vacation, a true like reset and like preparation for the season, like the last week of August. this is a little bit different. This is just like a spur of the moment beach trip, and I will be streaming and everything during it. But I won't be able to. I'm not bringing my PC, so I'll be streaming from my laptop with limited gear. So just so you guys are prepared, the quality of everything, have some a little bit lower expectations there. But I just be like the OG days for those of you guys who were here before I had my PC. So. All right, let me get through the chat here, guys. Hit that like button for me if you haven't done so already, and we're going to start wrapping things up here. All right, guys, I appreciate y'all coming out tonight. Tempted to swing the fences and start Watson and Palmer. See, like, I don't have a problem with that either, Booger Dog. It's just close, man. It's so standard leagues are so tough because if your players don't score, then you're screwed. But I could definitely see Watson and Palmer scoring this week, man. Sorry, I had to restart my PC. You're good, Logan. Fearmouth or Pickens? I'd probably go Pickens as long as it's full PPR. Yeah, I'd probably go Pickens, but both are okay. Yeah. Should I trade Fournette and Jeff Wilson for JT? Yes. But Jeff Wilson's going to have a really good week this week, and I think Jeff Wilson's going to continue to be productive. And I'm not counting Fournette as long as he's healthy fully out. You know, I still think he's going to get some goal line work and pass catching work, but it's not an awful trade, House of Bricks. If you feel good about it, I say do it. If you're weary, maybe hold off. I think Wilson's going to have a really good week this week. So, you know, Wilson might have a good enough week that you can sell Jeff Wilson alone pretty high after the week. I mean, he plays the Texans, so. Mike Evans and Saquon for Henry and Ayuk. I do that trade. I mean, it's super close. I mean, Ayuk holds a lot of upside right now. Henry doesn't hold that PPR upside, but he's going to get it done point-wise, so. Is it okay to drop Mitchell? If you need to, Dominic, that's fine. But he's still a pure hand. I mean, he's a handcuff who gets volume each game. But if you need to win now, that's fine. Pierce or Purine? C-Dog, it's very close. But I'd probably go Purine because I believe in that offense right now more. Beach episode? Probably Sunday morning. Ghost Hunter before kickoff. As long as everything goes to schedule, yeah. At the beach to catch fam. Let's do it. Good night, Andrea. Have a great night. House of Bricks depends. Do you feel? All I'm saying is you might be able to sell Jeff Wilson pretty high this week. Pray, how was the new God of War? Was it good? I know it's newer, not necessarily new. Tony, good night. Thank you for the guides course, bro. How cold is water? Probably very cold. We're just kind of going to relax. We're not really going to go to the beach, but we will be on the beach. So I'll check out the water for you guys for sure. McBride or Jawan Johnson? I go Jawan Johnson. You see, I traded Miles Sanders, Lenny Fournette, and T. Higgins for CMC and Njoku. I didn't have a tight end because Njoku got injured. It's a good trade because you got CMC. And Njoku's coming back. Oh, Pitts got injured, yeah. Njoku looks good to go, and you got CMC. I'm good with the trade, bro. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for the night. We got caught up to the stream there. We had a great stream tonight. Lots of great questions. Thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. I appreciate you guys. Of course, I appreciate the fantasy questions, and I appreciate you guys keeping the fantasy conversation going in the chat. Thank you to anyone who helped out in the chat tonight. And thank you guys for being here. And, of course, like I said, thank you guys for coming out and talking fantasy football tonight, man. Smash that like button on the way out. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Like I said, I'll be on tomorrow evening at some point for an hour or so. And I'll be on Sunday before kickoff as well. So still plenty of time to get your guys' rosters right. So I hope you guys had a great holiday. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to join the Discord. Link is in the description down below. You guys can always talk fantasy on there. A lot of the community comes out to the Discord channel. And make sure to follow us on Instagram. Those are the two best places to reach us outside of the YouTube comment section and outside of the live streams. So we'll wrap up very quickly here, and I appreciate you guys being here tonight, man. Fields or Herbert? I'm going to go Herbert just due to the injury and the tough matchup. Came out November 9th. That's not that old. Came out this month, but it's still old, I guess. Mahomes, Fields, drop Swift, stash Watson. I mean, hey, if you got Mahomes, I don't know if you need anyone else unless you're just trying to screw the rest of your league, which is fine too. Flex Akers, Foreman, Edwards, or Mitchell. You know, I think Akers could actually get pretty good volume this week, but I'd probably go Gus the Bus if he's healthy. Foreman's okay, but he's got a really bad matchup, so consider Akers, but you got issues with all these players. Pierce or Pacheco? I go Pacheco. I think if Marshawn Lattimore is available, I may bench Jimmy G for Carr. Is that a valid plan? That's fine, but I still believe in Jimmy G. I mean, you think about that offense: Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, CMC, a couple other guys sprinkled in. I think he'll be okay, even if Lattimore's out there. Gus the Bus, pray. DPJ or Pickens? I go Pickens right now, just due to weather. Supposed to be some bad weather in that Bucs-Browns game. So, all right, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight, man. Love you guys. Love this community. Love the Catch fam. Shout out to all the new subscribers. I appreciate you guys, man. Welcome to the Catch. And I'll be on tomorrow night, so I'll talk to you guys then. And thank you guys for coming out tonight, man. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. And that'll do it. Hit that like button on the way out. Hit that subscribe button. Check out the links down below. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Everyone be safe and have a great rest of your Friday. With that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on The Catch.